Number 15 is on page 127. It's about Ayasma Channa. Ayasma's problem seems very familiar to all of us. All of us, we also know that everything is anicca, dukkha, anatta. We also know that everything is impermanent, it's not mine, not me, not myself. And yet, we are not awakened. Ayasma Channa also same, he also not awakened. But he became awakened after he listened to Ayasma Ananda's talk. So what do you think was the reason why he could not comprehend the Dhamma? And what do you think made him realize the Dhamma after listening to Ayasma Ananda's talk? Okay?
We did discuss on page 126, where second paragraph, face to face with the Blessed One, the whole paragraph, it talks about dependent on duality, where Channa has this view of permanence, or rather eternalism, and annihilatism.
Does he have this view?
Dependent on duality.
I mean, that's what Ayasma Ananda said, based on what he heard the Buddha talking to another monk. Right? No?
Yes, yes.
That was not what Ayasma Channa had, but
Okay.
that was what the other monk had. Or rather,
All right, okay. So basically, I think then in that case I have to speak for myself. I believe he has right view, but he has a concept of self. And then I see that I wrote there that he cannot see the cause and condition. And probably because he did not practice the Noble Eightfold Path like I did. And he's attached to the idea, he's stubborn and deluded, like I am. And he has agitation, which I take it that didn't overcome doubt. So, and also, still I have to go back to the second paragraph. It mentioned from ignorance as condition comes construction. So I take it that this is the dependent origination.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank
Okay,
you.
Okay, thank you.
From group 2, Channa actually did not yet understand conditionality when he talked to Ayasma Ananda. Therefore, he cannot see not self in it.
Yes, thank you. Simple answer, simple question, right? Well, actually, if you all know the story about Channa, it could be quite easy. Channa was supposed to be the charioteer that took the Bodhisattva out when he decided to renounce the world. And then he also renounced later. And because of that, he had a lot of pride being associated with the Buddha. And always he would tell people, oh, he's my Buddha. You don't tell me anything. You don't admonish me because he is my Buddha. Yeah. So he's got a lot of conceit, a lot of attachment to the self and to the Buddha. That's one thing. Another thing is, although he understands intellectually that all things are impermanent and there's not self, but because he's clinging to the idea of a self, he's afraid that if he lets go of the self, there's no one there. I think that many people still have that idea. I know some meditators, they tell me when they meditate and then suddenly they cannot feel their body, then they panic. No more body. What happened to myself? Then they open their eyes or touch the body and make sure it's still there. Oh, there was one lady in Taipei who said when she was meditating, she would get so engrossed in her meditation that she cannot feel her leg. So she always panicked. She said after that she did not sit anymore. So attached to the body. Yeah? And it's not only that, a lot of times it happens to meditators. When they go deep into meditation, sometimes they get used to losing the body. But then when it comes to the sense of self, they see, hey, there's no self there. Everything is just arising and passing away due to cause and condition. Even that also, they can panic. And they get off on the meditation because they lost their self. That's what we're trying to get at. We are trying to understand that, but when you really get there, you still are not ready to let go. You're still clinging on to the self. You're afraid that your self might disappear. You prefer to come out of the meditation. Don't want to face the reality. Not ready yet. So it seems that this is what happened to Ayasma Channa. We knew intellectually all these things, like many of us do, but when it really comes to face with it, we are not ready. We are not ready, and in his case, he was not ready. Primarily, I think, because of two things. One is his strong attachment to the self, and second, because he did not see cause and conditioning. So, the most important thing about anatta is, to get a glimpse of anatta, is that you must see cause and condition. And it's easy to see anatta in the mind. Easier than to see anatta on a momentary basis in the body. Because if you want to perceive the arising and passing of phenomena in your body, you need a high degree of samadhi to do that. Let me give you an example. In 1984, after a 3-month retreat in Massachusetts, some psychologists in Harvard made an experiment. Actually, they started the experiment before the retreat and after the retreat. So before the retreat, they got their subjects to go through a few tests. I can remember 2 tests. One is called the T-scope test, and the other one is called the Rorschach test. The T-scope test is asking the subject to view a screen, an instrument where there is a screen, like a radar screen, and that instrument is able to project sparks at the required rate. So it could come at 1 spark per second. That one is chicken feed. You can see 1 spark followed by another spark. Right? 1 second is a long duration. Then they will increase the rate from 2 sparks, 5 sparks, 10 sparks per second, and go on to more and more. So each person will have his own threshold. Yeah? At a certain rate, maybe 1 spark per millisecond, then you only see 1 spark instead of 2. Right? Not each person will have his own threshold. Okay, so they know that this is subjective. So they record that, and then at the end of 3 months intensive mindfulness retreat, they will ask the subjects to go through the test again. And to their surprise, for the first time in the history of mind science, they could calibrate and quantify attention, mental attention, which until then was considered by mainstream scientists to be purely subjective. But now it's totally objective, because he got an instrument to measure that. And so after 3 months retreat, a dramatic discovery is that some of the more advanced yogis increased their threshold by 500%. You know what I mean? So what they saw as 1 spark, when it was so close, now they see as the beginning, the middle, and end of 1 spark, followed by a space in between, a gap in between, and then the beginning, the middle, and ending of the next spark. Before the retreat, they only saw as 1 spark, and now they can see that there's a gap in between the sparks. This proves that meditation leads to improved and sharpened attention. Right? You can really see that, but you need a high degree of samadhi to be able to do that. So when you are sitting and you're watching pain, you think that your pain lasts for 10 minutes. But you actually, when your samadhi is really very good, you look at pain, it is arising and passing away from moment to moment, moment to moment, moment to moment. And if your samadhi is even better, you are not affected. You don't look at it as my pain anymore. It's just another phenomena arising and passing away. Usually, when our samadhi is not good enough, we associate with the pain. My leg is paining, my pain. And because of that association and that identification, we cannot see through the pain. Yeah, but when your samadhi is really very strong, you can just step back and look at pain very objectively, and you can see it arising and passing away from moment to moment. On the other hand, watching the mind arising and passing away, very easy. No need to have such a high degree of concentration. Your mind is changing all the time. Right? Not. Even if you are not a seasoned and trained meditator, you sit down and ask you to just Try to watch your breath when you're rising and falling. Yeah? And you can imagine how many times your mind runs away from your object. Even within 5 minutes, the mind would have run off and thought of other things more than your toes and fingers can count. Right? You can see the impermanence of the mind so quickly. So it's easier to see the impermanence and not self of the mind than it is to see the actual body. Body, you need a high degree of concentration to see. Okay, now, it's not only the arising and passing away of phenomena that will give you a glimpse of anatta. Because if you just see things arise and pass away without understanding the cause and conditioning, you could be led to two extremes of wrong view. What is that? First is ahetuka ditthi. There's no cause. Simply arise and pass away. Random. Because you don't see cause and conditioning. So it's random, just arise and pass away. Nobody control. It's wrong view, first one. Ahetuka miccha ditthi. Wrong view of no cause. Then, the second wrong view is that there is a creator. There's somebody up there playing tricks on me. I didn't think this thought. It just came and went away. Somebody must be up there controlling me. Okay? This is the wrong view that there is a God. Extreme, because you don't see cause and condition. Yeah, you either go to one extreme saying it's all no cause, no condition, just random. Or you could go to the other end and say there is somebody up there who is in charge and I'm not in charge. He is controlling me. All right? So the actual glimpse, or first glimpse of anatta is when you actually see your thoughts arise and pass away due to cause and condition. All right? So that's why it's so important. In order to really understand not self, you must see cause and conditioning. Yeah. And things arise not because of a single cause. It's multiple causes. Every thought, every perception, every assumption that you have in your mind is a result of multiple causes and conditions. Past conditioning and present circumstances. For example, you have a thought and perception of somebody. There is a cause and a condition for that thought, that perception. The first one is sense perception. It's because your eye came into contact with an eye object. And that is the immediate cause. Then, secondly, your mind recognizes who that is. All right? Then thirdly, from there, the recognition of who that is connects to a past experience with that person. Right or not? And then that will trigger off whether it's a good experience or a bad experience that is stored in your memory, and then you have this idea in your mind, okay, this guy is like that, better be careful. Okay? Or you have a very good impression of what this person has done, and then when you remember it, you feel very happy to meet this person. So, all these are conditioned by the past, right or not? Your past experience, your past memory. And it is also conditioned by the present, because your eyes come into contact with that person. Right? So, this is only intellectually, you understand this intellectually now, but the thing is you must actually experience it at that moment to be able to appreciate what is not self. When you really experience it, see that, oh, this thought arises because the eye came into contact and because the mind associated with it because of this, and this, then you say, oh yeah, it's not my thought. I did not purposely think that thought. It arose because of cause and condition. Okay? That is the time when you have a glimpse of anatta. It's not me. I didn't think that thought. It rose by itself due to cause and condition. Not because it's random, not because there's somebody in control. Okay? So this is just a tiny aspect of the law of dependent origination. But still, it's powerful. If you can really experience it from moment to moment in your life, as often as possible, in as many aspects of your life as possible, imagine what it will do to you. Not only once a year for a few seconds in a one-week retreat, okay? But throughout the year, in your wakeful hours, whenever you can remember to look back at your mind. What is the mind doing? How is it reacting or responding to the senses? Yeah, always trying to come back to the five senses, to ground yourself to be in the present moment, so that the moment is not with the senses, that means it's out somewhere, thinking.
Bhante, is this why you starting us on opening our eyes when we meditate? Because I have not done it before, and for the last week and until now, it has been very distracting, the eyes being open. And now I'm getting used to it, and I think that is I will start it from now on, and perhaps this is leading on to daily mindfulness.
Yep,
Bhante.
it is, certainly is. That's why I'm encouraging you all to do that, and I keep on reminding you, and despite my reminders, people still close their eyes. Not me, not mine, not myself. It's all due to conditioning. I know bad habits are difficult to correct. So I just have to be patient and keep on reminding you. And you just have to be patient to try to recondition your mind. Okay? That's it.